gentlemen, and once again, welcome to the home of Victory Anger Management, Studio H. This morning, I have a guest, so you don't have to sit and listen to me all day. How's that? Okay. So, before we get started, I'm going to ask our guest to introduce himself, and then we'll take it from there. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Elijah Bolden. I'm a year two occupational therapy student who is currently in the doctorate program. Um, a little bit about myself, everybody. I'm from North Philadelphia. I grew up there. I lived with my grandparents and my mom and all of them, and my sisters and everything. My upbringing was pretty well. My family always made sure I was okay. They had me in athletics all the time, just keeping me out of trouble. I attended Philadelphia Christian Academy. I went to Timothy Academy, and then I ended up going to Roman Catholic. I love Roman Catholic to this day. I still have a lot of friends from there. And then Lincoln University, I went to the first degree grant at HBCU ever. So that's history by itself. I went there, and then I ended up matriculating into Widener University to get my doctorate in occupational therapy. And I'm currently in my second year, and I have one more year left.
All right. That sounds great. All right. So, you ready to answer a few questions I have for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So, let me ask you this. First of all, what inspired you to pursue a career in occupational therapy?
Okay, so it's a few things that happened on why I started to, get into OT. So the first thing was my grandpa, he had got sick a few years ago, and he was he was bedridden for about a month before they was able to send him home and everything. And he had this mail that kept coming to our house, like home visits, but he just was having them do like regular stuff he would do in the house. And one day I just caught the bright idea to just ask because I was the one watching all his treatment, and he told me what it was. And then when I found out what occupational therapists do and how they contribute into, somebody's health and everything, it makes so much sense because there's a lot of different routes you can go. Also, the other thing was when I looked at my transcript to finally figure out what I wanted to do after college, I was on the track for occupational therapy. So it was more so like a thing that was already setting up itself for me, and I didn't even realize it.
Okay. So, what did you major in college?
I majored in health science. So health science is like a very broad umbrella, but we learn so much in every category. It doesn't matter. Like we could actually be on pace to go to a different route specifically.
Okay. Good answer. All right. Can you share any experiences from your field work or any of your clinical rotations?
One of my experiences that was very eye opening for me was this place called Spectrum. Um, I didn't know how to go about it because I've never like really understood how fully autism worked in a way, but it more so was a place for athletes who had, who was on the spectrum, and they were still able to allow them to work out and compete in different sports and everything. And it was very eye opening because they didn't have nobody there that had the knowledge in occupational therapy, and I was the only person, me and one of my classmates. So I was the only other person, you know, in there, and I taught them different things they could do, like to work on balance, because that's one of the primary issues with somebody that's on the spectrum. Balance could be one of the things. So I've created a different workout plan for them to work with their balance and everything. But other than that, spectrum sports was very eye opening. It was great, and I would love to go back just to just to see the evolve, like how much it evolved with the athletes and everything.
Okay, so let me ask you this: how do you see the role of occupational therapy evolving into the future? And the reason
Into the future.
let's say, wait a minute, let me say
Mhm.
this. And the reason I like this question is because a lot of careers are dying. So, do
Mhm.
you actually see a future for an occupational therapist?
The reason why I do see a future is because a lot of people think when they hear therapist, that's just a therapist. And OT is so broad, like you can do so many different things. And like for instance, like the thing that I really want to do is hand therapy. It's not that many occupational therapists who has certifications in hand therapy. But you can do so many other things when it comes to like hippotherapy, like working with animals. You can work with children with mental disorders, behavioral issues. It's so many things that OTs do that we have certifications in where I feel like in the future, a lot of people is are going to have to come to us about certain situations because we have that knowledge, and that's the things that we learn.
Okay. Now, do you see any misconceptions people may have about occupational therapy?
Yes, a lot. The first one is calling us physical therapists. That's the first one. I don't.
Ooh,
If I
okay.
yeah, if I tell you like yeah, I'm an occupational therapist, and then you continue and then say, oh, PT, and it's like no, it's not PT because physical therapy is post rehab. That's after your injury. Whereas though I'm working with you with your ADOs, IEDOs. So what that is, activities of daily living, instruments of activities of daily living. I'm helping you manage your health, home management. I do so many different things. That's the misconception between us and PT, where physical therapists they necessarily don't do the extra steps. They more so try to make sure that you're okay, like as far as functioning in your movements and everything, in your gait patterns. Where as though we expand broader than that.
Okay, so in other words, an occupational therapist is more prevention than.
Mm-hmm. More
Okay,
prevention based. Yep.
okay, that's great. I see. I learned something today.
More
That's a
prevention
great.
based, and also it allows like our profession allows an individual to have that sense of self again. Like after having a left sided stroke and they're not able to use nothing on their right side, we still have the power to help them figure something out to be able to continue their activities of daily living, regardless of the deficit or injury that they have.
Okay, great.
That's
I'm
like the
learning a
gift.
lot.
Yeah, that's the gift of occupational therapy, and a lot of people don't understand it. And it's so big that it's like we focus on so many things, like as far as diversity, inclusion, equity. We things that we do is just like, oh, I didn't know OT can do that, but it's like we have so much pull in our hands and everything. A lot of people don't understand that OT is very needed in today's society.
Okay, I might have to hire you after we get off of this interview. Okay, can you explain to us how occupational therapy differs from other healthcare professionals?
So other healthcare professionals, the way that they look at it, I mean, well, I can't really say that only because I've worked in interprofessional courses, like interprofessional like groups where I've worked with speech language pathologists, I've worked with physical therapists, I've worked with other OTs, I've worked with other teachers. And the misconception that it has is like, oh, y'all not always in a hospital. Well, that's the thing. We work in so many different settings. It doesn't it still contributes to the medical field. Like we can work in a prison. We can work in a subacute care. We can work in a sniff. We can work at a gym. We can do home environment. We can do home modifications. It's so many things that
Mm,
we can get our certifications in just based off of the material that we learn and the knowledge that we attain after we graduate.
okay, wow, I feel like I'm in school. What are some challenges that you face as an occupational therapy student?
So a lot of one of my main challenges, and a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's tough," but I'm the only black male in my class. Literally, it's just me. It's nobody else. I have one black female classmate, but other than that, everybody else is just me. I have nobody else to like, look left and right and just, they feel the same thing as I do. The only thing that I feel as though that they do feel is the academic side, but it's just like the emotional support. And then also transitioning from going to an all black school to a PWI is completely different. It's not the same cultures. Things is completely different. I wouldn't say necessarily structure because that's also another misconception. Because structure is horrible in a lot of universities, and I deal with that still. But I will say, like, just being an OT student now, it's hard. Also, it's grad school. It's not undergrad. Grad school is more so you gotta really focus on your career and what you are willing to do because you can't just do the easy get by trick that you used to do in undergrad. If that makes sense to you. And like
It
in go ahead, what you about to say?
No, I can say no. That makes perfectly good sense. It makes
Because
perfectly
it's
good
like we
sense.
don't we don't want somebody in this field that don't care about their career or they just was doing stuff to get by. Like you actually have to take the time and that effort into understanding the material and applying it. And that's the biggest thing with me now is just like I can't really do everything I used to do in undergrad where I could just, oh, I know what that is. I do it tomorrow, or oh, I got a test tomorrow, but the material easy. I could get by. I know I'm gonna get an E. Like, no, you can't do that in grad school. You have to actually sit down, open that book, and you need to read, or you actually need to do those assignments in a timely fashion because everything is thought out. It's nothing where it's like, oh, it's just a one-page paper. No, they want to know what you got to say, why did you say it, explain it, does this make sense, is this intervention proper for this person, and it's a lot of work. But that's
Okay.
the hardest thing with me is more so is just like the cultural shock and transitioning back to being in that realm with other ethnicities.
Okay. Now you said you went from a HBC, a historically black college, to a what now?
PWI.
And just explain to us what a PWI is.
A predominantly white institute, so the statistics is more so geared towards, Caucasian individuals, people of that descent, and then the other stats is, other ethnicities. Whereas though at HBCUs, it's you see this is all you see every day, and you might have a sprinkle of salt and pepper here and there, or you might have a sprinkle, the other ethnicities. I ain't want to say nothing where hurt somebody's
I
feelings,
understand.
man,
No,
because I
no,
know
you're
how
fine.
today is. But I
You're
know I got
fine.
jokes. But other than that, though, yeah, I really wanted to go to a HBCU, but
Okay.
just the way the cards fell for me and how quick Wagner got back to me, also just how in state the money, a lot of people wasn't offering that much money, and also in state like I'm in grad school, it's the time where I gotta start saving. I gotta think about my future after school too.
Okay. All right. Now you mentioned Widener. Widener is the school where you're getting this PhD.
Yes, Widener
And where's
University.
and where are they located?
It's in Chester, Pennsylvania.
In
So
Chester,
right outside of
Pennsylvania.
Philly, like
Okay.
15-20 minutes outside of Philly.
Okay. Widener University. I have to look them up.
Mhm.
Let me
It's
see.
crazy. What's crazy? It was a full circle moment for me because before I went to college, I was being recruited by Widener for football, and that's where I was getting ready to go originally. And then Lincoln came into the picture, and they the people who offered me more money. Where in this situation, it was the opposite. Wagner gave me more money than the other HBCUs I applied to and the other schools that I wanted to go to.
Okay. So Widener finally caught up with you.
Hmm.
That's good. That's a great answer. I love it. Um, well, how do you maintain a work balance while studying occupational therapy?
Well, it's hard maintaining a work balance. So I know I have like many different side hustles, but I'm really focused on my school life because at the end of the day, it's like this is something I really want to do. Like I really want to hone my skills on and be the best I could be at all times. Especially trying to, get my certification in hand therapy once I
Hmm.
graduate. That's something that I really want to do. And you never, and a lot of people is like, oh, why do you want to do that? But when you think about it, you never know how much stuff you got to do with your hands until you lose something on your hand.
Okay. Wow, my hands hurt right now. I need to. Can we work through Zoom? Like
You
if I
can't,
can.
and that's the thing
No.
too. I'm glad you said that because telehealth is a thing too now. A lot of people don't have
Oh, you know
transportation to
what
get
it is.
places, so
Okay.
this is another form of treatment. If you was to, I can't make it to the place, but I have somewhere where we can still do it. This is where telehealth come in, and it's a lot of OTs who do stuff like that where they don't travel; they just do strictly telehealth, and that's due to like certain situations of how they live in or they got families and they can't do all the back and forth all the time. But it's also
Okay.
it's a great investment.
All right. That's great. I'm glad I asked that too. I thought I had jokes. That's funny. Can you describe a typical day in the life of an occupational therapy student?
Oh man, it's a typical day in life. Okay, well, my schedule it changes. Like we have a set schedule, but it's different every day. So like Monday, I know from this semester, my Mondays was just I had one class which was assessment and intervention for intro to pre-adolescence and to infancy. So that's more so like an A&R course, but I had that on Mondays from 9 to 11:50. Then I will have a meeting with my advisor, and I'm done for the rest of the day. That's my Monday. But even though if you're done for the rest of the day, you still got work you got to do for those other classes that got assignments that's still pending. My
Okay.
Tuesdays, I'm there from 9 to 4, and that's
Hmm.
only two classes. Both classes is 3 hours. We get an hour in between for lunch and everything. Um, Hold up, give me 1 second. The cat got his hand stuck in the nail.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? We're
You got to
Tuesday.
got
I'm
it.
there 9 to 4. Uh, that's my environments class. Remember, I was telling you about home mods. That's where we learn stuff like that, home
Okay.
modifications, home health. And then I have another class called functional movement. So it's more so just learning the anatomy of the body and what center of gravity is, what contact points are, what does manual muscle test, range of motion. That's what that class is for. Um, we learn goniometry. So goniometry is like measuring somebody's range of motion, like how far can he go. So like knee flexion, knee extension, stuff like that. We can measure things like that. Now my Wednesday is from 8 to 3, and 8 to 3, from 8 to 10, I have pathological conditions. Then after that, I have this class called COTP, which is contemporary to occupational therapy practice. That's more so just learning about your field work, what the things that we have experienced. How can we, grow from those things? That's what that class is for, and that's from 10 to 12. But the thing with that class is not every week, so I might be done at 10 o'clock, and then my next class not until 1.
Okay.
Now, my class for 1 o'clock is evidence based inquiry. So that's where we work interprofessionally to learn how to, get articles published, peer review articles published, working with different professions on why, our research is important or a specific topic that we're taught and we have to elaborate on it. That's what that class was for. Thursday, we're off. I always thought this was kind of weird, but we're off Thursday, but we have our field works on Thursday. When I feel as though we should just have class on Thursday and then field work Friday, because the way Widener works is we have what's that? 5 level 1 field works, and that's only 20 hours. That's through the semester, and then my third year is my big rotations, which are 3 months each.
Mm.
But for Friday, that A&I class that we have a lab with it, so that's only from 9 to 10:50. You see why I say that class can be on Thursday?
Right.
Whereas the
That
like
makes sense.
Friday, like we done at 11 o'clock, so it's like Thursday we still got time, and you can still kind of go to your fieldwork because a lot of our fieldwork educators don't start until a certain time, or
Hmm.
it depends like what setting you in. So I was in a non-traditional setting, my first ever one. Now my second one, I was in school base. I went to an elementary school in Jersey, which I really like, and
Okay.
I want to go back because the community there felt welcoming and they was teaching me a lot. And then my next one is at a SNF, so a subacute care facility, skilled nursing facility. That's what I'm gonna say. Skilled nursing facility. That's what SNF means. So now you know SNF,
Okay.
skilled nursing facility.
I was about to ask.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
where I'm gonna be at next. They actually contacted me the other day to see like where am I at with everything? When do I want to start? And we just have to do 20 hours. Like that's it. We don't have to do nothing excessive because they know that we're in school all day. But
Okay.
that's my day. Like that's how it is. And I go home, I do my work, or I go and help family. That's how my days are layered out. In the weekends, you might not have weekends sometimes. If you get your work done in a timely fashion like how I do, that's how I am. I still try to balance my life in certain ways because it's not always about school. Like you have to have those times where you get your own downtime and you need to just think, stuff like that. But you don't need to, like, and they do tell us at school, don't keep hammering yourself with assignments. Like it's okay to step back, take some time and do it. And I also will say, like, at school they're very supportive. Like The people that's in my corner now, they make sure I'm okay. Like they always contacting me, just to see like is my mind on the right track? Am I still like actively involved in everything? Just making sure. Also,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to mention my day in the life too. I am so for the American Occupational Therapy Association. We have this organization called SOTA. So it's called the Student Occupational Therapy Association. I'm one of the assembly delegates, student delegates for my current chapter. So where I have to go to big conferences, bring back to my group about what's going on in the Occupational Therapy Association, what's about to happen next, what's the current plans on like grant scholarships, and that's just something that the ASD delegate does. Now everybody else goes, but as a delegate, I'm there to advocate for my chapter, bring up problems that I see, and be able to spread that knowledge to other other chapters that's under the AOTA.
That sounds exciting, King. That's great. That is really great.
And then the other position I have, I'm the president of COTAD, so that's the Coalition of Occupational Therapy, adversity, well, advertising diversity. If I'm mistaken, I know the A is advertising or adversity, something like that. But that's more so like with equity inclusion, and COTAD is more so like having a diverse field with those individuals who aren't just Caucasian. We have Spanish patients, we have African American patients, we have African patients. It's just understanding like a lot of people have different cultures and certain things that they won't do. So how can we still help this individual as well as respect all the things that they're coming to us with as far as like their roles, their spirituality, things like that, because at the end of the day, we didn't go to them with problems. They came to us with problems. They came
Uh-huh.
to us for us to help them fix them.
Okay. I'm just scribbling some notes because I'm going to share some of this information if you don't mind. I'm
That's
loving
fine.
this. What advice would you give somebody considering a career in occupational therapy?
If you considering a career in OT, I will say have passion about what you're doing and be considerate to everybody that you deal with, because that goes a long way. And at the end of the day, if you're gonna be an OT, understand like you're gonna get pulled in so many different ways because there's so many things that you can do as that individual in that room.
Okay, good. All right. I know I told you we wouldn't be all day, so I have at least one more question. Can you discuss any research or projects that you're currently involved in related to occupational therapy?
Okay, I'm going to discuss one of them. The second one, no, I don't really care. I'll share both of them only because like it's nothing for me to hide as research at the end of the day. But don't nobody be stealing my stuff though. I'm telling y'all that right now. Don't be stealing my stuff. But for my first project, the National Black Occupational Therapy Caucus. So that's an organization in the AOTA where it highlights all Black OTs all over the country and the people that
Mm-hmm.
are licensed and everything. Now, in the caucus, we have different chapters in different regions. And the thing that stuck out to me when I was researching in our region, the Eastern region, the only two that's close to Pennsylvania is New York and Washington D.C. Now, my thing is, how could you skip over PA when PA has a large market as far as just everything because of how big the state is? Um, so what I did one day, I just reached out to the coordinator or this head at large, or the person that runs the entire region, the regional director. There you go. I contacted her or whatever and asked her about chartering a Pennsylvania chapter. So that's a project that I'm currently doing right now.
Oh,
So
lovely.
possibly by the time I graduate, I'll be a founder of the Pennsylvania chapter for the National Black Occupational Therapy Caucus. And I have a few people that are backing me behind this and who are willing to advise this entire thing. Um, and then my second thing is, so we have this thing where we do capstone projects, and I really want to do hand therapy, but I want to create like a device that's equitable in use, so where like the person can still use it even if they have a hand deficit, or like for instance they have like preacher's hand or claw hand. So that's just like based on how like what nerve is damaged in the hand, and that's the name that we give it. But I want to create a device where a person can still use their function in their hand regardless of that deficit that they have. So I've been working really closely with one of my teachers, and she's been helping me out. And my next step is to create a 3D hand model of my hand, and then we're supposed to work on off after that. So that's the two
Wow.
things I have going on right now. I'm
Oh
currently
my
getting very
goodness.
close to becoming a charter member. I'm just, moving the best as I can, but I still got school, so that's
Mm.
moving on its own pace, and I only get to that when I'm done with all the stuff I'm doing.
Oh man, that sounds really, really, really great. Well, listen, I'm glad you decided that you had enough time out of your busy day, well, your busy Monday, to sit down with us. I know we've talked about doing
Well,
this for a while, but I'm gonna say this: it was worth the wait. It really is. And now,
I've been in school and I'm off right now, so I chose the best time for me. I'm off. I'm not even in Pennsylvania right now. I'm in Kentucky right now.
oh
That's
man,
exactly where I'm at. Yeah.
now is the grass really blue in Kentucky?
No, I'm actually in bluegrass. That's the
Oh,
crazy part. But no, it's not blue.
I,
No, it's
I
not
knew
blue.
that.
But a lot of
Okay.
people, a lot of
I,
people got a misconception of KY. Kentucky is close to a lot of things that people don't know, especially
okay.
Lexington. Like it's an hour and 10 minutes from Louisville. You got 3 hours from Nashville, Tennessee. Then you got an hour away from Cincinnati. Like it's not like you can't do nothing out here. And Lexington, yes, is a college town and everything, but it's a lot of nice things out here to do.
Okay. So now the governor of Kentucky owes you a favor for tourism. Okay. So you have to tell them now they have to give you a scholarship because you supported their tourism. That's great. Well, listen, I do have a surprise for you for this interview. I didn't mention it, but anytime I do an interview with anybody, it also comes along. Well, and I won't say anybody with a student. It comes along with a $200 scholarship. So you will be receiving your $200 after we get off of the stream, and I'll get all your information so we can make sure you get your scholarship.
Okay.
Okay. And
Hmm.
again, now when you graduate, we expect you to come back with some great news and give us
Oh
an
man,
update from this interview.
I'm
Okay.
looking forward to coming back and doing podcasts. That's something I really want to do. Like I really want to start, projecting my voice to the youth and everything because how I grew up, like, you know what it is, man. Coming from North Philly is just it's tough. It's like, and yes, my parents kept me out of it, but no, trust me, I seen it all. Like I've done seen it. And the reason why I didn't take that route was because of the guidance I had and the future that I was thinking about. Like at the end of the day, I never wanted to be a statistic. I wanted to be a good statistic, not the bad one. And that's from not contributing to the jails. I'm not contributing to no violence, nothing that will taint the image of black people. And that's something that I really want us as a community to really understand. Like, just because you
Mm,
did something way back when, it still affects the future. And we seeing it today, like with the youth now, like they don't even understand how it is to just not be in Philly, like how it feels to be somewhere else and your mind somewhere else, and you realize, oh, all people aren't bad people, like, or it's just understanding, like, bro, it's more to life than just the streets. It's way more to life than just the streets
mm.
because that only gets you but so far, and that brings too much trouble and chaos. And also, it affects your loved ones, and people don't take that into consideration. Like you got to think about the people that raised you and grew up. That looks bad on them too. That's their image as well, and you doing something that's not what you was taught. So that's just how I was, staying out the way, staying out of trouble. Yes, I still knew what was going on. I know I got friends who still do things like that, but I don't associate myself with that because I think about steps 7, 8, and 9, and not just 1, 2, and 3. You always got to think ahead of your regular plan A because sometimes plan A might turn into plan A version 2. It ain't never no plan B, and that's just how I feel. That's how I see life, and that's how I see OT. Like it ain't nothing else after this, and the people gonna want my help at the end of the day, so I'm gonna help them, and I'm gonna do the best I can. But once I'm done helping, I'm done helping. That's just me.
Okay. Well, and you know what? Now you said that last part that you just mentioned. All of those things are some of the same things that we teach in anger management.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm gonna say this about the anger management profession. Okay, it shouldn't be called anger management. All right. I was interviewed the first time. I've been certified to teach anger management now for over 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest problems I have with it is the name. Because when you say anger management, a lot of times there's a stigma attached to it. I think we lost Mr. Bolin. I still hear birds chirping. Oh, there he is. And in any
Hello?
event, yes. Can you hear me? Okay. We have a little bit of technical
I
difficulty.
can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can't hear you though.
You
Wait,
can't
hold up.
hear
I
me.
think I gotta switch it back to my AirPods. Give me 1 second. 2 seconds. Yeah. You can still hear me, right?
I
I
can
just
still hear
can't
you.
hear you.
Okay. Well, look, we gonna wrap up anyway. All right.
All
So,
right.
okay. I hope you can get your volume back. But no, all I was saying, everybody else can hear me, and you can
Can I
hear it
say
if you
one
look
more
at the
thing?
rebroadcast. Go ahead.
I just want to say, everybody, I appreciate this podcast being up here talking about the profession. If you have any question, comments, concerns, y'all can contact me at boldenboy16@gmail.com if you want to email me, or you can contact me on Instagram at lodgebolden4, LIJBOLD and 4. And if you just want to talk about OT, or just you have any ideas or anything you want to collaborate with me, please contact me because I'm all for that and I want to give back. So thank you.
Okay. Well, listen. Don't go away. Stay right there. I'm gonna end the stream, but stay right there. Don't you go away. Okay.
All right, y'all.
So, all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And again, welcome to Studio H. So long from Studio H. And